You hyped up, too amped up, and it ends up hurting your team. And you see right there, Parasite leads the lobby in KD and caps per game on this map during Season 1. Parasite's just had a phenomenal Season 1. Some controversy with him getting benched from Prophecy, then traded over to Faze, wanted out of there pretty bad. But regardless of that, he's had a phenomenal Season 1.
Again, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but there were people, I was getting a lot of tweets saying, Parasite might be the best all-around player in Advanced Warfare.
Be.
No, at first, though, I was like, oh, you're crazy. No, that's just not a thing. Well, but as we're, 3 to 4 months in now, that's definitely worth arguing.
I mean, you saw it a little bit with, Ace Black Ops 2, one of the best players. Nobody really wanted to give him credit. I think Parasite's kind of getting the same thing here in Advanced Warfare. Parasite's so talented. We'll kick it off with him.
All right. And this first hill, we've talked about it. For you, what are going to be, I'd say for me, outside of the first hill, I think you can get pretty solid time. Hills 2 through 5. What are going to be your money hills here?
You can. I think the garage hill is really the one where you're going to want to hold that for pretty much the extended period of time. Okay. You can get that garage hill and then that fourth hill, that back yellow area. You can definitely rack up tons of time.
Well, the big thing there, if you can hold that, the parking lot spawn there for the third and fourth hill, like you said, you can really rally up a ton of points here. We should see it going pretty back and forth throughout this one, though, as Attach is able to pick up yet another one. Nice shot there, but he will be taken out there in the Central Atlas.
Yeah, you see Slasher, he's going to be running that SMG. I talked a little bit about that pre-game. You're going to need, Slasher to play that fast-paced SMG role in this map because you can't really run an AR. It's kind of difficult.
Here, yeah. I mean, you just don't have a lot of long-range gunfights. I mean, maybe if you're talking in uplink to even not even really in uplink to
in uplink a little bit more though. Map. On uplink you would on this
map. But in hardpoint, definitely going to play much faster. We're going to see Parasite will end up being taken down. Early lead is going to go to Denial. Clayster, I already heard him getting the hype, screaming down below. He's on a 3-kill streak at 6 and 4.
And you see, I wanted to go on with Aches right there. He's struggling a little bit. Him and Parasite actually starting off, they're 2 and 6 and 2 and 5 respectively. Saw the movement right there. They're so bunched up together, just not what you want. It just looks like they're a little bit out of sync to start off the morning.
Replay's doing a great job blocking down this hill. He's got Enable that's going to challenge him. Great timing there. The dash just did not work in Enable's favor. Able to take him out. We are on with Clayster, getting shots in. Able to let him up a bit with that bow, but really just hit markers. He will be taken out.
So it's interesting the strategy they're using. They're going to kind of put Clay in that alleyway to lock that down. So they force those gunfights through the back and side of this green hill, and they're doing a great job locking that down. The SMG is putting so much pressure. But you see, we're going to go on the rotation right here. It's going to be Replays getting there first, but I think this player right there, JCat, probably needed to stay back and hold those spawns. You have players from Faze fighting on the outside. That's Slasher, and he's going to lose that battle to Clay, so nice win right there from Clay. Enable's going to need to win that one, and he's not going to be able to do that. They're going to have these spawns denial for this next garage hill. Definitely look for it to favor them.
Yeah, they look to be set up pretty well there in the bottom right corner. And just taking a look, every single player here for Denial is positive. They're already leading by 50 points, and we're now getting into money time. We talked about the third and fourth hill rotations, which so far has been Denial's control. We could look at them being up, 120 points by the end of this one?
And you see on the mini-map, they're actually just trying to force Clay out of that position. They finally get him out, and they're able to break that hill, and that's the position you want to break from. If you can get that player out of that glass area, you can control the spawns for the garage hill and that next hill.
Well, this is what we needed from Faze. They do have 2 players in the hill right now. They're locking up a ton of time. We are seeing JCap picks up one outside, pushing their bottom garage. He is going to get dropped as well. And this is what it was, 80 to 8 or something like that. And now they're climbing back. They've got 40 points on the board now. 7 minutes left in this one. We're about to get the rotation to the fourth hill. Really good job there by Faze, because they were getting dominated going into that third one. Able to take about half of that hill.
Well, they committed to breaking that anchor position. When they committed to breaking that anchor, Relay was able to break the hill fairly easily after that, and they still hold these spawns. You can say, Denial, they have control over this hill right at the start, but you see all the players from Faze fighting for the back. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, they definitely have the favorable side. And this, as you can see on the mini-map, there are 2 players basically mid-map, and now, they got that, elbow, back alley spawn is where they're going to be coming from. That was, they all died basically at the same time. They had 3 players pretty much flooding from the bottom, which is exactly the side you want to be coming from. But just like that, all 4 are going to be spawning out, Matt.
And that's exactly what you wanted if you were Faze. You wanted to be attacking from that back position, but the only issue is they didn't leave anybody else there to hold that spawn, hold the position.
They all pushed at the same time.
They all pushed in at the same time, so really just a miscommunication right there out of Faze.
And as we look at it, I think I mentioned earlier that every single player of Denial was positive. Just taking a look at it, pretty much the case. Every single person still even or positive, still a significant lead, but once it was 80 to 8, somewhere in that ballpark, it's now about to be a 30-point game here. We'll see if Denial is going to be able to lock up this fifth hill as we're about to enter the second side of these rotations.
And you saw that attach on that rotation, able to win that initial gunfight, but they're not able to hold, and that's huge because usually when you get that initial gunfight on the rotation, you're able to hold that hill for the first 15, 20 seconds, but they're getting those intro kills, but then they're not picking up any kills after that, and they're actually having to fight out of a disadvantageous position.
Well, for you, Matt, when we're talking about this school hill, what is the single most important part? If you're inside the hill, if you've got control, what is the most important thing for that team?
If you want to push out a little bit, you can't let them get into your lockers and pinch from both sides, and you're seeing that. And also Slasher trying to lock down that middle lane so they can push straight up into that school area with that bow. It's exactly what you want to do if you're attacking it.
Well, the positive side for FaZe, they haven't got a lot of time in this school hill, but they did. I was going to say they had control of mid-map there. It looked like they were going to be setting up for the middle hill, but just like that, every single player is going to drop. They're going to be spawning out, and mid-map control is gone.
Yeah, mid-map control is going to go back to Denial, and they're going to start off the second rotations of hills with a pretty nice lead. If they can just keep this going, they really just can't give up a ton of time at the garage hill. That's really what it's going to come down to.
Well, that's the second time we've seen FaZe having, you'd say, the favorable side, the favorable spawn, and they've all rushed in at the same time, all dropped within a matter of a couple seconds, and you'll see all four spawning out yet again, but they do have control of this one. They're going to be flooding it right now. Attach is the only one up, tries to go up top, but Parasite's grenade's going to come in, take out not only Attach, but also Slasher, his teammate as well.
They've done that like 3 or 4 times. We saw Enable, he actually team killed Aches earlier in the game over by the garage hill. They just did it a lot yesterday too, just not on the same page.
Well, we talked about the fact that this team, they might not be the biggest fans of each other, and we see it a little bit in the team killing department, Matt.
Yeah.
Well, we did see all smiles coming out of these guys yesterday. I said on day one, for me, this team, FaZe gets 8th or they get first. So now, I got to predict them first, right?
I mean, technically you would have to. I don't think that's an outcome that we're going to see, though. I think they struggle mightily to really get along. I think that's something that, teammates, you need to get along, you need to really enjoy playing with each other.
There needs to be some chemistry, yeah.
There needs to be some chemistry in and outside of games.
All right, we do see Enable going to be pushing on mid-straight here. He is going to end up falling there to Clayster. That was 3 down for FaZe. The lead starting him out a little bit here, up about 60 points right now is Denial. 3.5 left to go as they are trying to control this second hill.
Aches is really struggling this game, 13-23. Something that we talked about a little bit pregame. Depend on which Aches is going to show this weekend is what you're going to get out of FaZe placing-wise. If he plays good, they're going to have a chance to win the event. When he plays like this, though, I mean, there's really no chance for
Yeah. You mentioned that's basically been our primary point of analysis here on FaZe throughout the weekend is what Aches are we going to get. Enable, they're going to pick up 1, push out, gets 2. He's got another round left. I think his teammate actually cleaned that up. But Enable all weekend long has just been playing phenomenally. And for me, when he says to me, he was like, listen, Maves, Austin is better than me in pretty much every way. Talking about Slasher, that's a scary thing as good as we saw Enable play yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he played absolutely phenomenal yesterday. This is going to be a huge battle for Aches. He's going to win that one, and they have control over that anchor position. You can see him going to light up Slasher on the minimap. He's going to have 2 players challenging to his left. He's going to need to win at least one of these battles. He's going to pick up Clay, which is huge because that's the other bow player attacking him, but you see all the players from Denial going to be flooding through that back.
And that's what's tough here. They're getting a ton of time right now as FaZe, with the favorable spawn still in the hands of Denial as they're going to be coming out that bottom side of the garage from parking lot.
You'd imagine
just like that, they're able to flood it.
Yeah,
they're breaking in really right now. And all of those points, it looked like it was a good position for this 3rd and 4th hill for FaZe to get a ton of time. I actually thought they had potential to really tie this one up.
And I love the way JCap played that. We went on with him a little bit late there, but he was on that ramp, and he was able to pick up 2 kills. Instead of just running into the hill and getting that contest, he just let it just be vacated for a little bit, waited for another teammate to push up the ramp, and they can trade those kills when they got up, but still broken by FaZe.
And take a look where the spawns are coming right now for Denial. They're getting those bottom spawns. They already had 2 players. They've been set up in this 4th hill for the past 15 seconds. There were 2 players just ready to go.
I mean, they're playing for this hill. If Denial were to get broken here early, it actually would be a pretty good chance FaZe can come back and hold us, but it looks like they're going to be able to hold us when they have FaZe spawning out in that back. They're going to need to flood right away.
And Attach got 1. Aches able to pick up 1. The play answers back. Attach gets yet another, so that was 3, make it 4. Basically, the entire side of FaZe dropping in about 5 seconds there. So the points are going to continue to just roll in here for Denial. They're at the 2:15 mark now. 80 seconds left to go, and this is definitely Denial's game to lose.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think JCap's really been the X factor for this team. I mean, Clay, obviously 38 and 28. You expect that out of him when he's shooting, well with that AR. Really one of the most dominant players in Call of Duty. But JCap really the X factor for this team in this first game.
Well, I thought Clay was a little bit up and down on Friday, but yesterday I can't really think of a bad game that he had. I mean, what we casted, he was just crushing pretty much every game that we were on with him. And then here today, 41 and 29 on the 2-kill streak. They still have what, about a 40-point advantage here. Attach able to pick up one wall. I think he saw one player top Atlas as well. A couple other players mid-street, and somehow manages to stay alive through all of that, but eventually will fall as we've got about 35 seconds remaining on the clock.
He has some of the best movement we've seen all weekend.
Yeah.
Just moves really fluid around the map. I think that's something in Advanced Warfare definitely ups the skill gap, so to speak. That everyone's shot at this level is so good, but some players just have phenomenal movement.
Well, that was my favorite. My favorite part of this new game. We talk about the fact that. Yeah. When it comes down to this game, you die pretty quickly. The time to kill is not very long, so this movement really adds, because strafing hasn't really as much been a thing, at least when we talk about Ghost, but in this game with the Exo movement, it's become a much more skill-based game in those 1v1 gunfights especially, as JCap here able to get hit markers, a couple seconds left here, but Denial, and they are fired up. We don't have the boost, we have the headphones here, and we are really able to hear these guys get up, get excited. Great stuff there from Clay.
Definitely a reason for Clay to be fired up. I mean, 45 and 31, just an absolutely phenomenal performance at him, but JCap really bought it. 35 and 27, had a phenomenal game. Attach as well, 30, I believe, 30 and 31, but he was putting a ton of pressure. Every time we went on with Attach, he's just pushing out those hills, pushing out spawns. Just a great game out of him as well.
Yeah, replays give the objective side of things done. We saw him last night. Not gonna